If one spouse in your household receives a higher CPP pension than the other, you are very likely overpaying tax every single month, and most couples never find out until it's too late to fix it retroactively. Service Canada has an official form that legally rebalances both spouses' CPP pensions, so your household keeps more of its own money. It's not a loophole, it's not a gray area, it's a program built directly into the Canada Pension Plan, and today I'm going to show you exactly how it works, what it's worth in real dollars, and how to file it correctly the first time. I'm John A.J. On this channel, we bring you official CRA and Service Canada facts to protect your retirement income. No fluff, no guessing, just what's written in the government rule books, translated into plain English. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button right now, because Service Canada updates these programs quietly, and I don't want you to be the last one to know when a rule changes on you. Subscribe. Official CPP and OAS updates. Here's the part that makes this urgent. This CPP adjustment cannot be backdated. Not by 1 month, not by $1. Service Canada is very clear about this. Pension sharing only starts the month after they approve your application. That means every month you wait to file is a month of tax savings you can never get back. So stick with me to the end of this video, because I'm going to walk you through the exact documents you need, the exact form number, and the mistakes that get applications delayed for months. Point 1. What is CPP pension sharing? Really? Let's start with what this actually is, because a lot of seniors hear pension sharing and think it means splitting your pension with your kids or giving up control of your money. That's not what this is at all. CPP pension sharing is a legal provision built right into the Canada Pension Plan. It allows married couples or common law partners to divide their combined CPP retirement pension income more evenly between the two of them. Service Canada looks at the years you lived together while both of you were contributing to CPP, and it uses that overlap to calculate a new shared amount for each spouse. Here's the key point. This is not about giving your spouse your money out of the goodness of your heart. This is about the fact that CRA taxes each person individually based on their own income. So if one spouse has a much higher CPP pension than the other, that higher income spouse is very likely sitting in a higher tax bracket, while the lower income spouse might have unused room at a lower tax bracket. Pension sharing moves taxable income from the higher earner to the lower earner, which can lower your household's total tax bill without changing your combined pension income at all. Total household CPP stays the same, the tax bill changes. This is one of the few tools Service Canada gives couples specifically to reduce tax exposure legally using rules that already exist. You are not asking for a favor. You are applying for something written into the Canada Pension Plan legislation. Point 2. What is it actually worth to your household? Let's talk numbers, because this is where most seniors sit up and pay attention. Depending on the income gap between spouses, pension sharing can save a household anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000 or more per year in reduced taxes. That's not a one-time bonus. That's every single year going forward for as long as pension sharing stays in place. Let me give you a realistic scenario. Picture a retired couple in Ontario. The husband worked full-time for 35 years and receives a higher CPP retirement pension. The wife took time away from paid work to raise their kids, so her CPP contributions and her pension are noticeably lower. Come tax time, his income pushes him into a higher marginal tax bracket, while she has plenty of room left at a lower rate. By sharing the CPP pension, a portion of his pension income shifts onto her tax return instead of his. His taxable income drops. Her taxable income rises, but stays in a lower bracket. The household pays less combined tax on the exact same amount of money coming in. Now, I know what some of you are thinking right now. John, if my income goes down, does that mess with my guaranteed income supplement? Will this reduce my GIS? That's the right question to ask. And here's the honest answer. Pension sharing is often used specifically to protect GIS eligibility and reduce OAS clawback exposure because it can lower the higher earning spouse's net income on line 23600 of their tax return. If that spouse's income is getting close to the OAS recovery tax threshold, sometimes called the OAS clawback, shifting some CPP income to the lower earning spouse can help keep that person under the threshold, which protects their full old age security payment. That said, every household is different. If both spouses have similar incomes already, the benefit will be smaller. If one spouse is very close to losing GIS or facing OAS clawback, the benefit can be significant. This is exactly why I always tell people, run the numbers for your specific household or talk to a tax professional before assuming a dollar figure but the potential is real, and it's sitting there unused for a lot of Canadian couples right now. Point 3, The timing rule that costs seniors the most money. This is, without question, the single most important fact in this entire video, so listen carefully. Pension sharing is not retroactive. Service Canada states this directly. The arrangement starts only after your application is approved. It cannot be backdated to cover months or years before your approval date, even if you were eligible the entire time and simply didn't know the program existed. No backdating ever. Think about what that means in practical terms. If you and your spouse have been eligible for pension sharing for the last 3 years, and you only apply today, you do not get 3 years of back savings. Those years are gone. Permanently. The clock only starts ticking once Service Canada processes and approves your file. This is why I get frustrated when I see people sitting on this information for months, waiting for a better time to apply. There is no better time. Every month of delay is a month of tax savings that simply disappears and can never be recovered. If you think you might qualify, the smartest move is to start your application this week. Not next season, not after the holidays, this week. Some of you are probably wondering, is this CRA approved? Is this actually legitimate, or is this some kind of workaround? I want to be very clear here. CPP pension sharing is administered directly by Service Canada under the Canada Pension Plan. It is a formal government program, not a private strategy, not a tax trick, and not something your accountant would ever tell you to avoid. In fact, if your accountant hasn't brought this up with you, it's usually simply because they don't manage your CPP application. That's handled through Service Canada, not through CRA at tax filing time, which brings me to something a lot of people get confused about. Point 4, don't confuse this with pension income splitting, TWO, different programs. Don't mix them up. Here's a mix-up that trips up a lot of seniors, so let's clear it up right now. You may have already heard of something called pension income splitting that you do every year on your tax return using CRA's Form T1032. That's a completely different program. Pension income splitting through CRA is done annually when you file your taxes. It can apply to eligible pension income like RRIF or certain pension plan payments, and it's essentially a paper calculation. You're not actually moving money. You're just allocating income differently for tax purposes on that year's return only. CPP pension. Sharing through Form ISP1002 is different. This is filed with Service Canada, not CRA. It's not something you redo every tax season. Once it's approved, it stays in effect and actually changes how your CPP pension is paid out until you cancel it or your circumstances change. And critically, regular CRA pension income splitting on Form T1032 does not apply to CPP retirement pensions at all. CPP has its own separate sharing mechanism, which is exactly what we're talking about today with ISP1002. So if you've been doing pension income splitting on your tax return every year and assume that covered your CPP too, I want you to hear this clearly. It doesn't. These are two separate systems run by two separate government departments. And if you want your CPP specifically rebalanced, you need to file the ISP1002 application directly with Service Canada. Point 5, how do you actually apply, step by step? Let's get into exactly how to do this, step by step, so you can start this week. Step 1, confirm you're eligible. You and your spouse or common law partner need to be living together, and at least one of you must already be receiving or have applied for Ease Parks a CPP retirement pension. Both of you need to have contributed to CPP during at least some of the years you live together, since the sharing calculation is based on that overlap period. Step 2. Choose how you'll apply. You have two options. The faster route is applying online through your My Service Canada account, or MSCA. If you don't already have an MSCA account set up, that's the very first thing to do because it speeds up processing significantly. Your second option is the paper route, completing the physical form ISP1002, the official Application for Canada Pension Plan, Pension Sharing of Retirement Pensions. Form ISP1002, Application for CPP Pension Sharing. Step 3, gather your documents. You'll need to provide both spouses' social insurance numbers. If you're married, you'll need your marriage certificate. If you're in a common law relationship, you'll need proof of that relationship. Service Canada may ask for a statutory declaration of common law union if you haven't already established that status with them. Have these documents ready before you start the application so you're not stuck halfway through waiting on paperwork. Step 4, submit and wait for approval, not for a specific date. Once you send in the online application or mail the paper form with your supporting documents, Service Canada will review it. Remember, the arrangement only kicks in the month after approval, so submitting complete, accurate paperwork the first time matters. Missing documents or an incomplete form is the #1 reason applications get delayed, and every delay costs you real money because of that no backdating rule we already covered. I know some of you are asking, what if we separate later or one of us passes away? Does this cause problems? Good question. Pension sharing does have rules for when it ends. For example, it stops if a couple divorces or separates for a period of time, or if one spouse stops contributing to CPP under certain conditions. But for most couples who stay together, this arrangement simply continues quietly in the background, saving you money every single tax year with nothing more for you to do after the initial approval. Step 5. Confirm the change on your next notice of assessment. Once pension sharing is active, you'll start to see the adjustment reflected in your CPP payments and eventually in how your income is reported for tax purposes. Keep an eye on your notice of assessment, or NOA, the following tax season to confirm everything is showing up the way you expected. And if something looks off, that's the time to contact Service Canada directly and ask them to review your file. Let's bring this all together. CPP pension sharing through form. ISP1002 is an official Service Canada program that lets married and common law couples rebalance their CPP retirement pensions to reduce household tax, protect GIS eligibility, and avoid unnecessary OAS clawback. For the right household, that can mean $1,000 to $3,000 or more back in your pocket every single year. It is completely separate from CRA's annual pension income splitting on Form T1032, and unlike a lot of government programs, this one comes with a hard rule that punishes waiting. There is no backdating, so every month you delay is money you don't get back. Here's your action step. If you and your spouse have a noticeable gap between your CPP pensions, don't wait for tax season to think about this. Log into your My Service Canada account this week, or call Service Canada and request Form ISP1002 by mail. Gather your marriage certificate or common law proof now so you're ready to submit as soon as you start the application. Remember, approval date is your start date. There is no going back for the months you lose while you're thinking it over. If this video helped you understand something Service Canada doesn't exactly advertise, do me a favor and share it with another senior couple in your life, a neighbor, a sibling, a friend from church or the community center. A lot of people simply don't know this form exists. Drop a comment below and let me know what province you're in, because CPP is federal, but I know a lot of you are also juggling provincial programs on top of this. And it helps me plan future videos around what you're actually dealing with. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time. Hit that button so you don't miss the next video, because I break down real CRA and Service Canada updates on this channel every single week. And these rules can shift without much warning. I'm John A.J. Take care of your money the way you took care of everything else in your life, carefully and on your own terms. I'll see you in the next one.